Good evening, everyone, and welcome into this week's edition of the Bullring. I'm your host, Derek Diesner, and for the next 30 minutes, we'll break down the week that was in Matador athletics. As you can tell, it's spring break here on the campus of AWC, so things are a little quiet, but with Matador athletics, things are booming, starting with our Lady Matador softball team. And in just a little bit, we'll hear from our head coach, Nikki Bethurum. Also during tonight's episode, we'll sit down with assistant baseball coach Kyle Carruthers, and we'll hear a report from Karen Bright as she sits down with our April Student Athlete of the Month from the Matador baseball team. Right now, it's time for us to take our first break right here on the Bullring, but when we come back, we'll catch up with AWC Lady Matador softball head coach Nikki Bethurum. That's coming up next, right here on the Bullring. Welcome back, everyone, into the Bullring. Derek Diesner back with you, and I am now joined by head coach of the Lady Matador softball team, Nikki Bethurum. Coach, 5th in the nation right now, 30-4 overall, 24-2 in conference play, and another great week for your ball club.
Yes, definitely.
Now, looking at the results, it started on Tuesday. You were on the road all last week. Started off in Gateway, and your team really came out swinging as you took game one by a final of 15-1 in a final 5 innings, and the win in that game went to Jacqueline Pearson, who had a busy week for your team.
Yes, she came in relief. Haley wasn't feeling all that well, so we put Jackie in, and she did a really good job in relief and kept them from scoring the whole rest of the game. So.
Now, what bats really stuck out to you in that first game when you won 15-1?
Pretty much all of them. I mean, everybody hit the ball real hard that day. So, and their particular field is really large. So if you hit the ball hard into a gap, it's going to keep going. So.
Now, looking at game two, another run rule victory. You win 15-2 in a final 5 innings. And looking at the 2 games combined, Carly Saban, what a day she had for your ball club. Looking at the stats, 5 for 7 at the plate, 3 runs and 4 RBIs. She must have been seeing the ball really well.
Yeah, she sees the ball well anyway. So, but just kind of goes to show you what she can do.
Now, what do you think for Player of the Week honors? Is there a chance she could get Hitter of the Week?
Well, I actually didn't nominate her.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure I nominated Bethany Olea, because after the Gateway day, she had 10 RBIs, and after the two games, she had 7 in the first game, or 7 in the second game maybe, but a total of 10 RBIs, which is pretty outstanding, pretty above and beyond.
Yeah, I guess that's good. Now, later on in the week, you travel to Chandler Gilbert on Saturday, and your 3rd straight run rule victory as you take down the Lady Coyotes 14-1. Ashley Rex gets the victory. She improves to 14-2 this season. How impressed have you been by Ashley's play?
Well, she throws the ball well, but I think the most important part what Ashley does is she's consistent. She's throwing strikes, and she's getting things done. She's not allowing a whole bunch of the opponents on base so that they have a chance at things. She's making sure to keep them off base as much as possible.
Now, in that game, again, like we said, your team put up 14 runs. Was it, again, another all-around effort offensively? Yeah,
it definitely was. Everybody kind of contributed to that game. I think almost everybody had at least one hit, so.
Game 2, a little bit closer. You win 9-4. You play the full 7 innings. Haley Miller gets the win, improves to 12-2 overall. How good was it to see her get out there and get the win and really pitch well against Chandler Gilbert?
Well, it was good to see. She started off a little shaky to begin with, and that's how they scored their run real quick. But then she kind of calmed down and got into a little bit of a groove, so it was nice to see that.
Now, offensively, you talked about Bethany Olea and what she did earlier in the week at Gateway against Chandler Gilbert. 6 for 9 at the plate, 3 runs scored, 3 RBIs. So you talked about how that was your nomination this week for Hitter of the Week, but that's a pretty good decision to have to make between Bethany Olea and Carly Saban.
Right. Well, this week it was difficult. I think there was actually six of our starters that were hitting over 500 after the week was over, or at least over 450 for sure. So just kind of had to pick between who had the best numbers.
Now, looking ahead to this week, a little different knowing that it's spring break, so a lot of the kids are gone, but your kids obviously still here. So first off, wanted to talk about what the practice schedule is going to be like for your team this week.
Well, it sort of depends on how well you do at Scottsdale tomorrow. So it's nice. We were originally scheduled to play Yavapai this weekend, but since they didn't field a team, we have the weekend off for games. So we kind of figured if we play well against Scottsdale, then we'll take a little bit more time off than we had originally planned. And if not, then we might, it depends on how the game looks. If we need a little more practice and most likely defense probably, then we'll have to spend that time this week working on our defense. So.
Now Scottsdale, it's going to be a tough test for your team, having to go there and play. And looking at the conference standings, they're right there, I believe, in 5th place right now in the ACCAC. And
it's tough to play at their place. They have a really good record at their home field now. It was redone this last year, so it looks awesome now. And since then, the girls there really put an effort into making sure they win all their games at home, and they're pretty tough to beat at their home place.
Now, you touched on about how the Yavapai game got canceled earlier this year, so you won't have that game on Friday. So your team's going to get some rest, and it seems like this late in the season, this is a good time for them to get some.
This is definitely a good time to get some rest. It's a couple weeks before we start playing all the D1 schools again, so we'll have time to get back into the swing of things next week with practice and getting back into our routine. So they'll definitely much deserved rest as well as they're playing this season. So
yeah, and speaking of how well they're playing, looking at those 4 games from last week, your team outscored your opponents 53-8. I mean, could you have even envisioned that well of an offensive onslaught by your team?
Well, no, not really, but they did a really good job hitting and running the bases and just getting the runs across.
All right, well, spring break again. One other question I have to ask about that is, we've already talked about what the practice schedule could be like, but what kind of distractions can a student athlete have during this week, knowing that they don't have classes, they have just the couple of games on Tuesday? If they don't have practice, what kind of distractions can there be?
Well, first of all, there's study hall.
Okay, that's good.
We have study hall this week still, because I know my math classes still have homework that's due next week, so I'm sure they run into similar situations. But I believe the fair is in town too, so a lot of them have just talked about going to the fair when it starts tomorrow. So.
All right.
That'll be something to keep them busy, at least during this off week.
Definitely. Well, Nikki, thank you so much for your time. Good luck this week against Scottsdale, and we'll catch up with you next week.
All right, thank you.
All right, that was head coach Nikki Bethurum here on the Bullring. It's time for us to take a break, but we'll be back with more right after this. Welcome back, everyone, into the Bullring, and welcome on to Cammon Field. Derek Diesner here with you, and I'm now joined by assistant coach on the Matador Baseball team, Kyle Carruthers. Coach, thanks so much for joining me.
No problem. Thanks.
Coach, looking at your overall record right now, 25-14, 10-12 in conference play, so you're getting closer to that 500 mark.
Right.
Let's talk about your ball games last week. You started out at home, had a nice crowd here on Tuesday afternoon against Phoenix College, and you win game 1 10-4, but behind a nice complete game performance on the mound from Travis Garcia Pereira.
Yeah, I mean, Travis he started a little bit slow. He was hurt the first month of the season on and off. He got thrown out a couple times, and now he's starting to come on the mound. Last year he was 9-1 for us, so I think for us we're looking to that point where he kind of comes on strong and gives us a win every week,
Exactly, and offensively, you guys strike for 10 runs, and you were led by Irving Lopez. He goes 4 for 4 in that game, and your catcher, Bo Sobolski, goes 2 for 3 and had a good day at the plate.
Yeah, I mean, Irving's been that guy for us all year. I mean, I think he's hitting about 400. He's been our catalyst. He scores runs, he knocks them in. He's been hitting doubles, home runs. I mean, all of it. So for us, he's been doing it all year. But I think Bo was a nice surprise. I mean, he's been swinging the bat reasonably well, but he had some extra base hits on Tuesday, and I think that was something we hadn't seen from him, and that's something we're glad to see. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and in Game 2, you guys win 6-0, get that shutout victory to complete the sweep of Phoenix, and Bo continues to swing a hot bat, goes 4 for 4 in Game 2. I mean, what a performance by that young man.
Well, I think that's kind of what we've been looking for him for quite a while. I mean, you know, he's been kind of hanging in there, hitting 280 or whatever. He's 6 for 7 on Tuesday, had 3 extra base hits, like I said, and I think for us, he was the middle of the order presence that we needed to get the job done, you know.
Now, pitching-wise in Game 2, you got your guy to go to the distance in Game 1. That's huge. You don't use the bullpen. Then in Game 2, Matt Higgins, your starter, goes 5 innings. Then you get Jose Rodarte Rosales to come in relief, goes the final 4 innings. How big is that that early in the week to only have to use 3 pitchers in your ball games?
Well, I think it was big, and I mean, you know, Matt's had a couple starts on the mound. He was a little shaky early, but really hung in there with it and had the shutout innings. And Jose threw well, which he hasn't thrown well early in the year, and he's starting to come on. So we got a lot of hot pitchers at the right time. So I think it was huge going into the weekend, yeah.
And how important was it to get that sweep of Phoenix College, to get those 2 conference wins and really defend your home turf?
Well, it was huge. I mean, anytime you can sweep, I mean, you need to sweep in this league to make the playoffs. It's just the way it is. I mean, we haven't swept enough coming in, and we needed that one for sure.
Then your team hits the road on Saturday. You go up to the Phoenix area to take on Paradise Valley. In Game 1, you get shut out. You fall 3-0. But a nice pitching performance from Brett Anderson. Yeah,
I mean, Brandon Anderson's been solid for us since he's been here the last 2 years. I mean, I think for us, like, you know, we looked at him and said he's just one of our studs on the mound. It was just too bad we haven't given him any run support all year. It seems like this has been the story of his year, just not enough run support. So
exactly, is that what a tough luck loss is?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you look at his record. I think he's 4-4 right now, and every performance he's pitched well. Right. So we just haven't scored for him. You know, 1 run, 0 runs, 2 runs for him. So he's had to battle it. Now, something we've seen a couple times this season with your team is maybe they struggle in Game 1 of the doubleheader, but Game 2, the bats really come alive. That was the story on Saturday. Bats really woke up. You defeat Paradise Valley to earn the split, and you beat them 12-1. But let's first before we talk about the offense, let's talk about the pitching in that game. Starter Tanner McIninch really had a good outing for your ball club. Yeah, and Tanner has had some good outings for us. I think for him, you know, we scored 5 in the first, and he's pitched with the lead well all year. So, I mean, you look at a lot of his starts, he's got some run support early, and then he just usually shoves it from then on. I think for us, we're trying to get him some run support so that he feels like he's confident on the mound and can go get him.
Offensively, it looked like a real all-around effort by your ball club, but some of the names that stick out once again, Irving Lopez, Travis Garcia Pereira, and Joe Myers, all with 3 hits in that ball game.
Right.
And let's talk about Joe Myers. He's a guy that doesn't play every game, but he really made an impact there in Game 2.
He sure did. You know, the first at bat, he hit a double to left center, you know, and it made it from 2-0, 4-0. So that was huge for us. And, you know, he's come in with a couple, you know, 2-3 hit performances in conference play when we needed it. You know, Glendale, he did it as well. So I think that's something that he's an impact guy for us at times, especially, you know, when he gets pitches to hit at the end of the order.
Right.
So.
Very important to get that split. Now this week, let's look ahead to your ball games, because it's not an easy road this week.
No, it isn't.
You open this week on Tuesday afternoon. You'll be at South Mountain, one of the top teams in the conference, actually the top team in the ACCAC. This is the first time you'll see them. They'll be here in a couple weeks, and we'll actually have that game broadcasted live on 560 KBLU. Our pregame coverage for that will start at 11:50 in the morning. First pitch at 12 noon. But talking about the game this week, what challenges await you with this South Mountain Ball Club?
Well, I mean, I think they're really solid throughout. You know, they pitch it pretty well, they hit pretty well, they base run. I mean, they have some speed, so they're going to steal some bases. The nice thing about them, though, is that not a lot of dominant pitching, not a lot of dominant position players that can really hit home runs. So, I mean, they're kind of like us. You know, they're kind of like us. I think they've played more consistent throughout the year, but I feel like we match up with them very, very well going forward.
Later this week, you then travel to Coolidge to take on Central Arizona. Now that's a heavy hitting ball club. We saw them here at the end of February. and they took both games 4-2 and then 11-2. What does your ball club need to do to get at least one win against that Central Arizona team?
Well, we've always played them well in the past, and it's always been pitching and defense. I think they tend to get frustrated, much the same way that we do when we play teams that maybe aren't as strong as us. They're going to get frustrated if they don't score right away. So if we can get ahead of them and then just hold on, I think with pitching and defense, we can, win a 4-2, 3-1 type of game.
All right. And a reminder to fans, the Matador baseball team will return home here to Cammon Field on Tuesday, April 8th to host Yavapai College. First pitch of that ball game will be at 12 noon. Coach, in just a little bit, we're going to have our April Student Athlete of the Month here on the Bullring, and he comes from your ball club, starting pitcher Brandon Anderson. Mm-hmm. Now, that selection was made by you and the rest of the coaching staff. Mm-hmm. Why Brandon Anderson? What makes him stick out so much as one of the best student athletes on your ball club?
Well, I think Brandon Anderson just, exemplifies what a student athlete should be. He comes out, he does his stuff in the classroom. We don't have to worry about what professors say about him. He attends class. He's held over a 3.0 GPA his whole time here, and he does the same thing on the field.
Right.
He brings that workman-like, student-like atmosphere to the field with him. He's the first one here, always helps set up the field, gets his work done. You don't ever have to ask him to do anything, and I think it just shows the type of person that he is, and he pitches the same way.
Definitely. Getting back to the team itself, this week, obviously a busy week for you. You guys have a pair of double headers this week, but you're also hosting a baseball camp here. How is that going, and how excited are you and the rest of the coaching staff and even some of the student athletes to host these kids from the community and kind of teach them a thing or two about the game of baseball?
This is the first time we've done a baseball camp since I've been here, and this is my third year here, and Coach Keene's fourth year here, and I think it's something that we've wanted to do to kind of bring ourselves into the community and give back. I think anytime you can give back, it makes you feel good, and not only that, it helps the kids get excited about what we do, which is play baseball.
Right. Exactly. Can't beat that, especially in this beautiful weather.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think it's something that we've been really excited about, so it's glad to put it forth.
Final question for you. You have some of the players helping you with this baseball camp this week. You guys have games, as we've mentioned, but it's spring break here on campus. How do you keep this team together, and how do you keep them away from any possible distractions?
It's interesting you say that about distractions, because I think in some ways it helps us that we're not in school this week. So the distraction, not the distraction of school per se, but the fact that they have to manage that isn't there this week with two tough road series.
Right.
I think it's good to kind of slow down the pace for them a little bit. They're a little bit tired going into to April here, and hopefully we can show well this week. So for me, it actually helps us, I think, going forward as opposed to hindering us.
All right. Well, Coach, thanks so much for your time. Good luck this week.
All right. Thanks, Derek. Appreciate it.
All right. That was assistant coach Kyle Carruthers of the Matador baseball team. It's time for us to take a break, but when we come back, we'll check in with Student Athlete of the Month, Brandon Anderson. That's coming up next, right here on the Bullring.
Welcome back to the Bullring. I'm Karen Bright, and I'm here with the April Student Athlete of the Month, Brandon Anderson. Brandon, how does it feel to be selected?
It feels great. It's a great award. Last couple of days, been getting texts from family members, some family in Missouri and some family in California. My grandparents were really excited about it, and it was a good award, something to be proud of for sure. So.
Now, this award honors athletics as well as academics, which is really important to you as a scholarship athlete.
Yeah.
How come?
Very important to me, just because baseball can only take you so far, athletics can only take you so far. So that was one thing my parents really stuck to me when I was growing up, is making sure I did well in the classroom and did everything I needed to do in there to have a fallback plan. When baseball comes to an end, hopefully you're playing the child's game for as long as you can, and that's everyone's dream. But eventually need something to fall back on, and that's what I'm doing. So.
And your academics have brought you to have a scholarship here.
Yep.
And tell me a little bit about that.
School's good. I'm glad that Coach Keene and the school are interested in me. I'm glad glad to be down here. I love Yuma. You know, love playing in this warm weather. It's actually snowing back home right now in Wyoming, so this is, you know, kind of bittersweet for me. Love being in the warm weather. It's awesome. It's good being down here. I love the school. Love the teachers. You know, the online classes, the in-room classes. You know, it's a lot of variety and different stuff. So, you know, it's they give you all the chances in the world to make the most of it, and I'm just trying to take full advantage of it.
And this is your second year here at AWC.
Yes,
why did you choose AWC of all the other colleges out there?
Like I said, you know, warm weather. You know, getting out of Wyoming was good. You know, it's cold up there, so it's warm weather. You know, Coach Keene obviously really liked him a lot. Me and my mom liked him a lot when we came down here. He's a very determined, motivated coach. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants to do, where he wants to get. Knows how to motivate us. You know, he's a great teacher and coach, and great guy off the field too. You know, he's someone that I know I can go to with anything that I've got, you know, going on baseball wise or, you know, off the field. So great communication with him and throughout the guys and the coaching staff, and just really like what AWC had to offer and everything that they had to give me. So.
Now, Coach Keene said he selected you for this award because you've been the most consistent player on the field and most consistent student in the classroom.
Right.
How does that feel to hear that from your coach?
It's very good. You know, Coach Keene's a great guy. I love playing for him. Love working hard for him. Love coming to the field and playing for him. It's a great honor. You know, I take what I do seriously, both on the field and off the field. Everything matters. You know, all the small things. So what you do in the classroom translates out here, and everything you do here translate there in life, so everything matters.
Now, you said one of the most important things that you have to do to be so successful is attention to detail.
Yep.
How do you do that?
Focus and concentration, you know, is a really big thing. You need to know what's going on, what you're doing. You know, on the field, you need to know, you know, what plays we're running, what we're trying to do to certain hitters. You know, where we want them to hit the baseball, what's going on around you. Because if you don't, you're lost. You know, and you're behind. And when you're behind, you're not where you need to be. So you're always thinking a couple steps ahead, and you want to be focused, concentrated, know what you need to do to be successfil.
And as far as being successful, you guys had some success early in the season.
Yep.
You've hit a little bit of a rough patch,
Yep.
even though you did split your
Yep.
away trip this past weekend. What's going on?
Guys are working hard. You know, we've been working real hard. We came out here yesterday on a Sunday. You know, it's an off day, but a lot of guys are excited. You know, they were ready to get back out here and work on some things. You know, after we played okay Saturday, but they're ready to get back out here and work hard. You know, we're hitting the home stretch here, a little bit behind, but the guys know what they need to do as a team and individually to make sure we try and make a run here towards the end and see if we can make that push into the playoffs.
And for you personally, what does that mean for you?
You know, we'd love to make it to the playoffs. We came up a little bit short last year, you know, stumbled a little bit and didn't make it. But I know us sophomores are really, you know, trying to work hard and make sure we lead these freshmen in the right way, you know, doing what we need to get done and try and get into that playoff spot, because we've talked about how exciting that would be, you know, to maybe host a regional here or whatever, and just, you know, getting that playoff baseball and what that atmosphere is like.
Do you think there's any one thing or one area in specific the team needs to work on to get there?
No, I mean, we just got to keep doing what we're doing. You know, we're working hard defensively. We're working hard hitting wise. The pitchers are working hard. Like I said, we had a lot of pitchers come out yesterday. Worked hard, you know, on their mechanics and whatnot and stuff we need to get done. And hitters were out here too, you know, hitting and just be consistent, like you said. We just need to, you know, pick up the ball and throw it accurately and hit it where they're not, you know, and just play consistent. That's all we need to do. You know, need to try and be someone that we're not. Just play consistent and do what we do best.
Now, you said you guys are coming down the home stretch, and
Yep.
your time here at AWC is also kind of coming down the home stretch. What are your plans after AWC?
Right now, I'm talking to a couple colleges, talking to Valparaiso in Indiana, have a visit scheduled with them, have a visit with Incarnate Word in San Antonio scheduled, and then been talking with Northern Colorado a little bit, and then some D2s, but not sure as of right now, you know, kind of putting that off to the side, you know, because that's, you know, ways away still a little bit, you know, it's coming up here in the fall, but right now I'm just trying to focus on what I need to do to get better, what I need to do to help the other guys get better, and make this run for the playoffs right now, and just whatever I can do to help the team and make this run towards the playoffs.
It's super hard to stay focused.
Yeah.
I mean, with school, deciding on a school coming up and playoffs and school here.
Right.
How do you do it?
Talk to my family a lot. Call my mom and dad almost every day. A couple coaches back home that I talk to, and try and go to church every Sunday. That helps. I pray a lot about it. Ask God for help from Him to come from me and whatnot, and just like you said, not trying to think about it too much. Pray about it and call my family back home. They always tell me, not to worry about it, and that everything always works out how it's supposed to be. So.
And just saying, if baseball is not, for your future,
right.
What else would you want to be doing, career-wise?
Education. I'm going to major in elementary ed. My mom is actually a preschool teacher, and she thinks that I work really well with kids, and she was actually the one who kind of got me decided on education, and like I said, she's a preschool teacher, and she works well with kids, and I've learned a lot from her, just how to work with kids and whatnot, and I enjoy being around them. They're a lot of fun, they show you something new every day. They're a lot of fun. Like we had that camp today. It's just fun being out there with the little kids. They're so creative and so much fun, and have a huge imagination, and it's just a lot of fun to be around them. So yeah, I'm gonna try and major in elementary ed.
Any favorite parts of camp today?
Just being out here with the kids, it's, when as the older you get, you take it so serious, and sometimes you get so worked up about it, and it's cool to get out here and just be with the kids, and, they just have so much fun with it, just throwing the ball around and hitting it, and, it's fun to kind of be around them and just act like a kid again, have fun with it and not, take it so serious all the time, and that it is a fun game and that it's supposed to be fun, and just, just the fun aspect side of it. They had a blast out here today, and it was fun to be with them.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to take a break, but we'll be right back here on the Bullring.
Welcome back into the Bullring, everyone. Derek Diesner back with you, and a big congratulations goes out to Brandon Anderson for being named our April Student Athlete of the Month. Also, a thank you to all of our coaches who joined us on tonight's episode. Head coach Nikki Bethurum from the AWC Lady Matador Softball team, and Kyle Carruthers, assistant coach with the Matador Baseball team. Also a thank you to Karen Bright for her interview with Brandon Anderson, and to Travis Mitchell for doing all the behind-the-scenes work here on the Bullring. A reminder to fans to join us next week on Tuesday when the Matador baseball team returns home to take on Yavapai. First pitch will be at 12 noon over at Cammon Field. We hope you can join us for that conference doubleheader. And a programming reminder, we will not have the Bullring next week, so check back with us in 2 weeks for the newest edition of the Bullring. I'm Derek Diesner saying so long and go Matadors. You've been tuned in to the Bullring right here on AWC TV.